Romans 8:28-30 says, "And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose. For those God foreknew, he also predestined to be conformed to the image of his Son, that he might be the firstborn among many brothers and sisters. And those he predestined, he also called. Those he called, he also justified. Those he justified, he also glorified." Welcome to Breion's Diary, where we talk about life. We are healing, growing, and building our confidence and self-esteem. Before we really get into today's topic, I want to talk about something that God has really been helping me with these last few weeks. In this specific area that I'm talking about is shame. The more God has been removing shame from me, the more authentic I am becoming, the clearer I am getting on the purpose that God has for my life. The more I can speak up and get vulnerable with you guys and do God's work. So Psalms 34:4-5 says, "I sought the Lord, and he answered me. He delivered me from all my fears. Those who look to him are radiant. Their faces are never covered with shame." Shame can lead to pride if you allow it. A lot of situations that we go through, it is not for us. The things that you go through is not for you. I've said this in one of my videos before, and if you are too ashamed and prideful, how is God going to use you to help someone else? I've learned to stop looking at the things I've been through and my circumstances as something to be ashamed of or hide. I use it as my testimony. Look at me. A few months ago, I could say that I lost a lot, that I gave away a lot, but that's not the case. Shame would make me feel that way, but in all actuality, God just purged me. And he's restoring me with new things, better things that are more aligned with me, that's more me. Not stuff I obtain because I'm trying to follow someone else, prove something, prove myself or fit in. I had to go through a cleansing process, and God had to purify my heart. He is purifying my heart. And had I stayed in that shame and continued to try to hide and care about what others would think of me or how others would view me, I would not have the mindset that I have on today. I would not be able to share the things on this YouTube, whatever. I would not be able to share the things that I'm sharing today. Do you guys know how God is helping me with shame? He is helping me by allowing me to understand that I'm not the only one. Do you know how many people are struggling with the same things you're struggling with? Going through the same obstacles that you're going through? Facing the same challenges that you're facing? Struggling with the same insecurities that you're struggling with? This is why I said to not compare. And it's okay, because I was guilty of it too. I was so afraid. I was not an open person. I never shared anything because I was afraid of what people think. And I know that you shouldn't share everything with everybody, but God has given me enough courage to come on here and share everything that I'm sharing because it's what he wants me to do. And I'm going to be obedient. I have been being obedient. God got me covered at the end of the day, so I'm not worried. I used to be, but not as much anymore. So stop being ashamed of your circumstances. Stop being ashamed of what you've been through. Stop being ashamed of what you're going through. Stop being ashamed for simply being you. So, you know why I can say that? Because every single thing I've been through, it brought me closer to God. It helped me to understand who God truly is. It helped my spiritual muscles to grow bigger, and bigger. It helped me to see myself the way Christ sees me, and helped me to understand what God sent me here to do. It taught me true humility. God has for a fact humbled me. He has truly humbled me. And being myself is good enough. It's teaching me how to love myself more and more every day. I would not be this vulnerable, confident, and the person I am today had I not been through any of those things. So why should I be ashamed? Why do y'all run to older people for advice? Because more than likely they are experienced. They have been there, done that. Release that shame. And if you know that you have probably done some things that you are guilty of and not so great, don't be ashamed of that either. Tell God what you did. Ask for forgiveness. Don't be ashamed of things you did. You probably was not aware at the time. You know? So I had to stop being ashamed of realizing things that I was not aware of that I was doing that made me guilty. So, and am I going to stay in that shame, or am I going to realize it and just do better? Ask God to transform you. I've been going through a transformation for these last few months, a true transformation. Romans 12:2 says, "Do not be conformed by the patterns of this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind." It is very possible to change. It's possible to transform. I know I'm not the same person I was. I've been saying that. I again just had to release that shame and pride and let God work. Now, what I do want to read to you guys is Philippians 4. Let me get to it. Philippians 4:8-9, because it was a verse in there that I really like. And Philippians 4:8-9 says, "Finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things. Whatever you have learned or received or heard from me or seen in me, put it into practice, and the God of peace will be with you." When I read deeper into those scriptures, it said the overall message of it was that we are responsible for the kind of thoughts we have. And when those thoughts come, capture it, speak against it, combat it with positive thoughts, and release it. You don't have to sit there in those negative thoughts. I used to live in those negative thoughts, and they used to drain the heck out of me. I'm telling y'all. But I got fed up. I just got fed up of being so negative. So, do I still struggle with it sometimes? Yes, I do. But it's not as bad as it used to be, because it's getting easier and easier as I'm working through the negative thoughts and replacing them with positive ones and giving it to God. Remember Matthew 11:28. Cast your burdens unto God, and He will give you rest. So get your mind to a place where you're thinking of those good things. It's possible. I'm telling you. I've experienced that. First, I used to be so filled with negative thoughts, and now I have a mind that's more clear, and I have never experienced this much peace in my life. I have never in my life ever experienced as much peace as I have now, and it's such a good feeling. It is a really good feeling. It's a good feeling to not be filled with anxiety and being such a negative person, you know? So practicing forgiveness, self-compassion, and just removing that shame and being more open, it brought me peace. I'm not ashamed. Now, with that being said, I want to talk about how I'm transforming those negative thoughts to positive, and that's through the process of mindset change. And there are 3 steps. Here we go. First step is accountability. You will release being the hurt person, the person everyone is just doing something to. Sit down and take the time to stop viewing what has been done to you and focus more on the role or part that you played in the situation. You would then get a better understanding of self. Why you behaved a certain way, responded or reacted a certain way. You are then able to forgive yourself. When you take accountability for yourself and get a deeper understanding, it could cause your perspective to change, which is process number 2. Step 2 is perspective. It's always easy for us to see what others has been doing to us, but very hard to see ourselves and what we are doing to others. Once you take accountability and you forgive and give yourself compassion, you learn that others were doing the same thing, living out their own traumas, fears, and what has been projected onto them. You then realize that once your perspective change, you can use that in every area or situation in your life. Reflect back on other situations that may have been keeping you stuck and see it from a new viewpoint. Once you get to that, moving forward, it'll be hard to not see things from all perspectives, hence a mindset change, which is part 3. Part 3 is the mindset change. You're no longer the victim. You're no longer the hurt person. You're no longer the person that's always getting something done wrong. You are able to understand that you are no one is perfect. What that brings is forgiveness, peace, acceptance, and a more optimistic but discerning outlook on life. And that is your mindset change. So that's all I have today. Focus on taking accountability, change your perspective, and allow your mind to transform. Keep your mind focused on God, and He'll transform it, okay? So with that being said, remember, healing isn't linear, it is a journey. Here at Breion, we are healing together. I will see you guys 4 p.m. next Thursday, and we will be talking about how to change intentionally, because it is possible. I love y'all. Bye. Mwah.